Welcome to the Basu Lifestyle Show. This is part 2 of my interview with Tony, my co-host. If you haven't seen part 1, be sure to watch it before you watch part 2. In part 1, we dug into his past and how he became a gym owner, who's now a gym owner at 3 spaces and looking for more. In part 2, this whole thing is going to be a blueprint of exactly how to take over a gym that's existing if you buy someone out, and also if you want to start a space from scratch. It's going to give you what it takes step by step. You don't want to miss it if you ever thought about owning a gym. Enjoy the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel.
So we started. We went to the gym to work out, and I was like, "Hey, this is a great gym. Is it for sale?" He's like, "Yeah, actually it is."
So you just randomly bumped into the owner?
You miss every shot you don't take.
Hell yeah.
He was the owner, coolest guy in the world. Ed was on a spin bike behind the desk, just sweating his ass off spinning, and like, he's like, "Oh yeah, go for it. Like work out." And we just start talking, and then like 4 months of negotiating, we rented out my house. She quit her job, which at the time that was her only source of income, and mine was like I was helping. I was pretty much managing a gym that one of my buddies bought, trying to fix it up because it was in a shit state when he bought it, and we were trying to make it to a spot where it could be profitable for him. And so it wasn't like I was tied to anything. And so when I was training people here and there. And so we ended up buying the house and not the condo, and buying the gym and quitting the jobs and rolling the dice. And we literally bought everything we needed for the gym on my Amex for the first 2 or 3 months because we weren't cash flow positive for.
So how did you look at the gym? So you say to him, "Hey, are you interested in selling?" He says, "Yeah." From there, what does he send you to kind of give people a blueprint of what they're going to go through?
In this situation, he sent me nothing because he wasn't like a records kind of person.
Yeah, it was old school.
Yeah, and because of that, it was more imperative for us to do books and actual books and records with the broker. So the broker requested all documentation for the last 3 years so that we can kind of see if there's been any liens, loans, the money coming in, going out, understanding the bills and the lease. And so we did that. We drove down, spent a whole weekend in our broker's garage going through all this, like the shoe boxes. It wasn't like here's a little jump drive. It was like here's every fucking waiver signed since 2002, since he got a printer. So we went through every single bill: electric, water, sewer, equipment repair. He had no Wi-Fi, so there wasn't a cable or a Wi-Fi bill. So we kind of had to extrapolate what the average cost per month would be for the overhead.
So you basically figured out how much is the gym spending on expenses and how much is it bringing in income.
Yeah, what's going
out
and what's coming in. And that gym at the time was at a huge loss. It wasn't making any money just because it was, you get what you give. So if you don't put that much into it, I mean, it was a great space for him, but it wasn't appreciated by the many. And so we knew that what he was asking wasn't something that we were going to come to. So we just went back and forth for a few months and finally decided on a number. Which out of respect to him, I won't put out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But like day one, we showed up with Xfinity, with Wi-Fi, with a computer, and with like waivers and a credit card machine. And we were like, "Hey, listen, we're the new owners of the space. We need you to, sign up or."
Yeah, we need to get some liability because you guys.
So we ended up not buying his company. He dissolved his own business. We started our own just because we couldn't discern if there were any liabilities or future liabilities that could arise from any tenure of his space.
Yeah.
And so it was just safer to start anew. Between looking at the space, actually even before looking at the space, your sister and I were talking about names for a gym because we were going to buy the gym that I was, contracting for in Pennsylvania. And decided against it. The metrics just didn't support us buying it. So we were going to say, fuck it, we'll go 2 towns over and we'll open one so that we're not, fighting with a friend. And so we had done everything, build out, blueprint. This gym just checked more boxes than the other one. She wanted to be at the beach, box checked. She wanted to quit her job, box checked. And so that alone was enough to try to make this work. Now the space in itself, it's a seasonal island. Maybe had like 174 people there, like in the gym as a member, and I think a third of them weren't even paying just because there was no real way to like track their.
See if they were actually
there was no
paying.
database. It was proprietary. There was no IP there. It was like a Rolodex, it worked until it didn't. And so, being a seasonal island, you knew that the winter's very, very, very lean. So we knew that we had to at least make X to not be at a complete loss, so that when summer came and it exponentially grows, you know, that's how we pay ourselves.
That covers everything.
So if you can have an excellent summer in a seasonal space, and you're smart, and you bank it for rents, and you don't count it as income, then you can make sure that you can get through the winter cycle when everything kind of leans down, and then the money that comes in the winter can go towards payroll and shit like that, because you know that your rent's already paid. Thankfully, that was only the first 2 years. Even though COVID happened our third year, when we reopened, I think like 79% of our people came right back. And so just the 79% of people coming back was still 600-700 people. So we had already 5x the space, so we weren't really worried about the lean months anymore.
Yeah.
And it actually allowed us to put more into the business. So when you've been to the gym,
Yeah, absolutely.
it was, we've put a couple $100,000 of equipment into that space over the past 3 or 4 years.
The original equipment, he already owned the equipment?
Yeah, so the equipment was already owned and was probably fully depreciated.
Okay.
It wasn't, just based off what we bought the company for anyways, even if we were to depreciate the sale, it wouldn't have made any sense on an accounting aspect. We just call it a cap contribution so that we could pay ourselves back down the road. But everything that's gone in since then, we do like a 5-year depreciation.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for somebody who's looking to buy, say, a gym that has equipment in it.
You want to make sure it's owned.
Yeah, compared to if it is leased, you need to know how old the equipment is, what they're
Yeah.
paying for the lease, when it expires, right?
Yeah, so the nice thing about this, 100%. So if it's owned and, it's a transferable asset on sale, that's, you're buying, normally when you go to a gym, if you're buying an existing gym, you're buying the revenue stream and the hard assets. Hard assets being the equipment, the fixtures, whatever gets put into the space, whatever you would have to do to build the space out.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, it was nice. It had everything that we needed. It just needed to be cleaned and like updated. And then what it didn't have was members.
Which is helpful.
Right. So we had to just do, thankfully the town is, and probably always will be super welcoming to business and new people. So we were welcomed with open arms. They put us in the newspaper a couple times. We cleaned the first day. Like, the first day, we were taking inches of felt, which was like just dust that had built up off of the rafters, to the point where like, the next week somebody walked in, hadn't been there for the weekend, and I'm like, holy shit, I can breathe.
Oh my god.
Oh, it doesn't smell.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking shit on the gym.
No.
It was just old school. It wasn't something that it wasn't a priority
Yeah.
for that business because it didn't matter. People were gonna. It was the mindset was we're the only island on the gym. You're gonna come here if you want to work out. I can't live that kind of model. Plus, I mean, for me, it's part of our business plan to be the clean gym, and it's also a pride standpoint. Like, I don't want somebody coming up to me and being like, "Your gym's fucking disgusting." Like, what are you doing behind the desk right now? You can be cleaning.
It's like
there's always something to do.
It's like being a slumlord.
Yeah. And so, I lost my train of thought.
My bad.
No, it's all good. So anyways, COVID happens. COVID was rough. COVID was rough on everybody, not just us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to play that violin too hard. But like, we were lucky that we had built a community, which is so important for us. We're active in the communities that we're in, whether it's beach cleanups or sponsoring the kids teams or just the fields in general, or like the police and fire, buying them lunch, like whatever we can do. That's whatever we can afford to do. That one is going to make sense for whoever we're helping, but two, also we can like affording it is always important. And so as long as it's not going to break the bank, we're pretty much all in. And that's, without, like I said, those 4 pillars: honor, integrity, community, commitment. Without those 4 things, the whole thing crumbles. So we can't put them on our walls and preach it if we're not willing to fucking do it.
Hell yeah.
So we did, and it works. It's worked for us. It's been a blessing because it's you see people who, just Brigantine, for example, we've got 3 locations down here now, but Brigantine was a gym that was 32 years old at the time, 25 years in the space that we bought it from, 6 years prior at a different location on the island. But people have been going there for that entire time, and most of them didn't talk to each other. There was no energy or like.
Yeah, I don't know the right word, but I know exactly what you're saying. It didn't feel like, community makes sense. It didn't feel like you were a part of something bigger than you. It just felt like you were using the space.
We're all in the gym, but nobody was included. Like, it was like, you're here doing your own thing, headphones on, fuck you. I'm over here doing my thing. I just want to be your friend. And like, that's what it was. So, they were watching us, and we couldn't afford to close the gym because we had just spent all this money to buy the gym, to get fucking paint's expensive, right? But we also just bought a house like 3 months prior to that we had to fix up because it was livable, but barely, you know. And, and like my dumbass ripped the kitchen out in August, thinking that the guy said it was going to be delivered the new shit in September. We didn't have a kitchen until the end of October. We're washing dishes in my bathroom sink, and my bathroom was not pretty then.
And you can't eat out because it's expensive.
It's fucking expensive. Yeah, and I mean, thankfully, I don't know, but we made it work. You know, that's what it is.
Struggles made you stronger, though.
To me, I don't think that was a struggle. I think that was just a learning experience. Like, it was hard, but like,
it's kind of a struggle.
But you're supposed to learn from those things, right?
Yeah.
And so we learned, budget better.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was just a budget issue.
So how do you get from, so now you build Brigantine into a community. Well, I guess we'll go first through how did you build the community aspect and the pillars around the gym before we talk about expanding into other gyms.
Sure. I mean, honor and integrity are very simple things. If you're going to treat anybody else with respect and dignity and hold yourself to that standard as well, those two things fall in line pretty quickly. So, I have no problem with anybody unless you give me a problem. And I'm the jolliest giant in the world unless you give me a problem too. And these people, just want to work out. Why would you create a problem? Nobody wants to go to a gym to create a problem. They want to go to fucking work out. So as long as we're there, happy, smiling, welcoming to a clean space that like, hey, how was your day? Like, I give a shit. Like, I'm not asking because it's a nicety. I'm asking because I'm genuinely curious. I don't know anybody down here. How was your day? Like, what's there to do around here? What do you recommend? Oh, there's a beach cleanup this weekend? We're going to be there. Like, what do you think this gym needs? Asking questions, one, can bury you, like, depending on what the answers are. But two, they can also enlighten you. Like, it was an enlightening thing. Thinking, like, this gym went without so much for so long, people were kind of just used to it. And now we're sitting here saying, you know what? We could use that Stairmaster. Looks like it's been at the bottom of the ocean for like 6 months. We should get a couple new ones. That cable crossover shakes when you use it, and it's stripped, so there's no way to fix it unless we weld it. We should weld it or replace it. There's no rubber mats on this green carpet, and the green carpet smells. We should get some fucking rubber mats. Some rubber mats, like, again, bootstrapping this shit, rubber mats are expensive. Like, we have 8,000 square feet of floor. Rubber mats are 4x6 tiles, so 24 square feet. That's a lot of fucking mats. And they're like $65 a piece at the time. So we would buy, like, we'd go in my little Jeep Wrangler and fill the back of the truck with like 6 mats because they're 100 pounds. It's like all the thing could fit. And so we would do like once a month. We get like 6 or 7 mats and then start stacking and like adding as we go until it was finally done. But I mean, people appreciated those 6 or 7 new mats because every month it went further and further and further. Mm-hmm. And then there was a lot of broken equipment there when we got there that was beyond salvageable, so we got rid of it. So instead of having a space that was chock full of equipment with you can only use 2/3 of it, now you can utilize 100% of the space, and it's linear. You can look, and there's a straight line. It's clean. You don't have to like. Do they have a fucking tricep push down? No, you know where it's at. But it's also in the arm area, like stuff. I spent like a whole day Saturday when we first took over, taking every single plate, which there was like 490 45-pound plates, stacking them up, stripping everything off, moving the equipment around. Just so that it just made more sense, like optically.
You know what's surprising? Like the gym I use, I won't talk too much shit on them, but like I guess it's owned by people who don't work out or don't care enough, because it's just like I don't get how you get into the space and not understand like the flow of things. Like there's no good flow, there's no real connection, and it's just like you said, like you walk in and the person sometimes says hi, sometimes doesn't. And it just feels like a corporate random gym where you're just...
So there's two types of gym owners, right? There's people who's going to be owner-operator and they're going to give a huge shit because you're there, you're going to hear every complaint, you're visibly present in the space, and by being present in the space, you're going to learn about every single problem. But if you don't fix those problems, they're just going to get worse and worse and worse. You're going to lose business. And then there's the other person it's a passive investment, which is great if you have good management. It's the team below you that needs to, if you're going to be the passive guy that's just looking for the investor or the investment and the money back, you better make sure that your fucking team is ironclad and like you're not going to have to deal with the bullshit of you're going to pop in on a Saturday maybe when you pop in on that Saturday, do you want to see every toilet inoperable? Do you want to see out of order signs on machines? Out of order signs, in my opinion, are a fucking plague. Unless it's like cardio, where I can't fix a computer board, we don't do out of order signs. Tony will fix the cable, he'll replace the pin, I have bearings, pulleys, whatever the fucking equipment needs, because we've replaced them and fixed them for so long now that we kind of can extrapolate, we're gonna need bearings. So I have 20 of them in the back, which is like 10 machines. And so if one goes bad, and shit happens, it's wear and tear. They're meant to go bad sooner or later. It takes 4 minutes to replace it. But you'll put an out of order sign on something for 3 weeks.
And then, I gotta call that guy still.
Call that guy. So I have that guy. If I am that guy 90% of the time, but 10% of the time, I call my guy, and that's he's priceless. Yeah, he costs a lot of fucking money. I could put a price tag on it, but also it's because people in that industry, if you call them and you use them, and they become like a tool for you to use, and you pay them, they're gonna show up for you every time. I can call this guy right now. He'll be at the gym in 3 hours because he's local. He gives a shit, and he knows I'm not gonna nickel and dime him on bullshit. You tell me that's your price, and you're gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna fucking pay you today.
Yeah, and he'll show up every time. Get it done.
Every gym member knows this guy because Pete, that's not working. That's the one.
Yep.
I'm like, I know. He told me. He sent me a photo. I know what's wrong. But they're like, all right, well.
But at least they know it's going to get fixed too.
And they know because at first, when we first did it, stuff would have out of order signs. Like when we first came to the gym, I guess the out of order sign was like the normal for them. And I've been doing this. I've been in gyms working almost 20 years now. And so, like I said, 90% of the issues, if there's an issue, like even then, I was fixing stuff. They had a whole back closet full of tools and parts that were not labeled whatsoever, but digging through it, I'm like, oh fuck.
This might work.
This will fix that. So there's one out of order sign gone. And then as we kind of went through, there were certain pieces that I couldn't fix, so hey, who's the guy down here that I call? Mm-hmm. And the previous owner was kind enough to give me the name and number.
Hey.
Yeah. And so we make it work. But I think that's it's huge that if you're going to be the passive investor guy, if you don't have the team that's going to support your gym and your members, it's really supporting the members, because if the machine's down, your members are fucked.
Yeah.
And that's not what
and
we're
they're
in
the ones who
for.
pay, they're the ones who keep the business open.
Yep.
So you need somebody who's passionate, somebody within the business has to be passionate about the space and feel like they're a part of it.
If you don't care about your bread and butter, which is your members, it's not your food and beverage sales, it's not your clothing sales, it's the people who come to your fucking gym, because not only are they paying for your membership, but they're the ones who are buying your other stuff. So you can turn somebody who pays $40 a month for your gym membership easily, very fucking easily, into somebody who pays you $110 to $150 a month because they buy the protein shake when they leave. Every day they buy the bottle of water for $2. They buy a t-shirt every once in a while. That's because they give a shit. I always was the guy who would bring my water and my own protein shake to the gym. I didn't care about how it tasted. I'd throw water in it, shake it up, chug it down. So the ease of use and then being like, just charge my card, it's fine. It just increases your ability to make a profit. If you don't give a fuck about your space, they're going to start showing up with their own shit.
And why do they want to wear your shirt?
And why do they want to wear your shirt? Why do you go to that gym? It's a piece of shit.
Exactly.
That's what it's known for. We are still 5 years later almost. This next October will be our 5th year in that space. Still have the stigma of, I still hear from people, I'm like, oh, you own that gym? I hear it's filthy. My first question is, have you been there in the past 4 years? No? Here's a free week pass.
Please tell me it's filthy after this.
Please come in. I teach class 3 days a week. I'd be more than happy to make you puke. But come try the gym. Here's a free week. Here's a free, and in the card, it's 1 free week, 1 free training session, free classes. Try it out. What do you gotta lose? $0. All you gotta do is sign a waiver. Let me change your mind. If I can't change your mind, hey, I'm the asshole. But if I can, let's be friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we figured out how to open a space that's already existing. Now, how do you go about opening a space from the ground? If you're like, okay, so I want to open a gym. Mm-hmm. How do I know if I should open it in my town? If you wanted to open it in your own town, say, or if you have a certain area you're thinking, what's your first step to determine if it's a good area?
Demographics reports.
Okay, so what's a demographics report?
So if you've identified an area that's available for lease, most realtors will put together, especially if it's commercial, will put together a demographics packet, which will give you traffic counts, per day traffic, how many vehicles come by. We'll give you a 1, 3, and 5 mile radius of how many people live in that area, in the 1 to 3 to 5, and then also in the 1 to 3 to 5, the median household income. Now, if it depends on where you're at, I only speak for where we're at in South Jersey. if the household income is like combined less than $95,000, it's not normally a space that I would look to open because I don't fuck around on our pricing. We're a $40 a month gym. Obviously, we give law enforcement and seniors and students a little bit of a discount, but our base membership is $40 because we put quality into the space. And we're constantly reinvesting into the business. The other reason is if you're paying for a premium product and you're getting premium service, you're not going to complain. If you can afford the premium product and premium service, you're going to be appreciative of outpricing the people who don't want to pay that because they can go wherever they're going, which is fine. I don't care. As long as they're working out, I don't give a shit where people go. But you're going to be with a bunch of people who are like-minded. We care about the space. There's always going to be people who throw shit on the floor and it's accidental or they don't care. It is what it is. But for like 99, I want to say like 98% of the people, they do care. And they care that you care because they see you in this space. So first and foremost, I do a demographics report. If the demographics suit your needs, I would then take a blueprint of the space and do like a CAD rendering, which there's plenty of apps out there which you can do it on, or you can hire somebody if you want. Do a rendering of the space. See if it's even going to work for a gym, because if you know that you want 100 pieces of strength equipment in the space, with 30 pieces of cardio, a stretching area, and a classroom, if you can't fit that into the space in the CAD, in the rendering, or even if you draw it on a piece of paper, if you can't make it work space-wise, it's not going to work.
It's not going to get
bigger.
bigger.
You're not going to add more room to the space that's already built. So if you can't pack it in there without it looking packed, or like you just threw 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound hat, then move on to the next space.
Who do you get to do a rendering? Because obviously,
so most gym equipment companies, if you're going with new equipment, like most of those companies will come out, they'll measure your space, they'll give you a demographic, they'll also do demographics for you too if you ask them to. They will do a CAD rendering of what all of their equipment looks like in your space.
Okay.
And they'll give it to you to look at, and they'll give you 1 or 2 options. You can always say, hey, listen, I'd really like to see this over there. And they'll do that for you. But they really want you to buy with them. My only issue with buying direct from manufacturer is, the delivery and installation cost is normally like 10 to 20% of the whole package.
Okay.
So no matter, you are saving money buying equipment from them. They will do deals on the pieces. I won't say they don't, but because they're leaving their hub and coming directly to you, you're paying 10 to 20% of that whole bill, which eradicates all your savings. Because you might be saving 10 to 20% on the equipment, but they're just putting it right back in at the end of the time to get it to you. And if you're financing it, you're at like 13% for gym equipment.
So you're saying it's 13% to buy gym equipment from those?
To finance it?
Yeah.
13 to 19, depending on who you're going to.
How many years is that usually?
So I think they have 5, 7, and 8.
Okay.
You can lease it though. You can also lease equipment with a $1 buyout at the end of it, which is pretty prominent in the industry.
But they're still adding that 10 to 20%, so no matter what you're paying them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's something you have to be prepared for.
I mean, the nice part about, one, that's all stuff that you can write off or amortize over X period of time. But like leasing it, you can write off all your lease payments, right? The installation, delivery, handling, all that shit, you can depreciate that over X amount of years. You're going to own this fully depreciated piece of equipment at whatever the 3, 5, or 8 year mark is for $1 a unit. Stuff is built to last. Strength equipment's not built to just like a cell phone where it's going to just be obsolete after 4 years. I have pieces of brand new hammer strength in all of my gyms, but I also have pieces of 25-year-old hammer strength that I've repainted, re-leathered, new bearings, works, looks, and functions brand new, no issues whatsoever, and I'll never have to buy it again. Like it just depends on what you want to do.
If you plan on holding this space for the long term,
Mm-hmm.
you might as well buy good quality equipment that you know is gonna last, because you only have to buy it probably once besides just maintaining and taking care of it.
Yeah, I mean, don't ever buy cheap shit, because you're not only putting people are gonna walk in who love the gym. People who don't know about the gym will be like, oh, this place is cool. People who know about gym equipment and gyms and love working out will be like, this is trash equipment. And that's the first thing they're gonna say on social media. And that's where everybody flocks to.
And that matters now.
Yeah, it does.
It's a different world.
It didn't, but now it does. And you're also putting liability on the line, because if you're buying you can buy light commercial and get it insured, I guess. I wouldn't recommend it. If it's called light commercial, it's probably for your garage. And if someone's putting their life on the line, like I've seen people smushed from, like I look at these fucking YouTube reels of people being squished by a piece of gym equipment that malfunctioned. Okay, quality gym equipment does not malfunction. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Not to the point where you're gonna get injured. You get injured when you do stupid shit or when you misuse stuff. But like, otherwise, it's every fucking time.
Yeah, it's usually people.
So I would say if you're gonna take the time to invest in a space, and you do the demographics, and you do the CAD rendering, and you decide, hey, this is gonna fucking work, don't cheap on the equipment. And if you can't afford to buy it up front, or you don't wanna like lease it or finance it through them, there are so many other people out there. Like one of my really good friends who will be on the show sooner or later, owns an outfit in North Carolina called Super Fitness Gym Equipment, and he will go to the ends of the earth to make sure, one, you curate the coolest fucking gym you can have, two, that he will work with you on like payments. Like you won't get the equipment until you're paid off. But like you don't have to show up there. You can be like, hey, listen, here's a deposit. I'm gonna do this by this time.
Yeah.
That's probably like me speaking out of turn, but like I know for a fact like he will work with you.
Okay.
And there's other people like that as well. And then he actually taught me, like, so before I was always getting direct from manufacturer and I was eating that cost, right? So for our latest build, which was over $500,000 of gym equipment that we bought, you know, from him, if I would have went direct from manufacturer, it would have been around $600,000 plus the 10 to 20% for shipping and installation,
Which adds up.
which he cut that completely out for me, just by having an independent freight company bring it up, and I paid $4,000 for a moving company to unload it. That was licensed, insured, and bonded, so I knew that if they broke anything, I was safe, and so were they. And I had the rendering that I had built on my CAD program in my hand, so when they were bringing shit in, I'm like, oh, power squat, yep, over there, and we got it done in one day. So there are other ways around going through the big guys and still getting the name brand equipment, because all of our gyms are Hammer Strength, Arsenal Strength, or Life Fitness.
Okay.
We do have a gym that's all Nautilus, the brand new shit too, so like you're getting the same stuff, you're just paying a lot less.
And that's just something you learn by being in the game.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know that your first gym or even your second gym.
I've never leased any of the gym equipment, I've always just eaten the bill.
Okay.
So that was just you're always learning. If you're not learning, you're not evolving.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you just like
You got to fall forward, which we always say.
Fall forward.
All right, so we figured out that this space could work.
Mm-hmm.
We figured out the equipment for the space. How do you go about figuring out your lease terms? Are you just using your realtor to help you figure that out? Should you have an idea of what the space should be per square foot so you know what you're paying per month? What's some of the things they should be concerned with the lease?
You should always know what you're paying
Mm-hmm.
per square foot. Some places do an all-inclusive lease, which includes CAM, which is your common area maintenance. Some places don't. They do a separate line item for it. So like, you should always know that number.
Yep.
And you should also ask if there's a realtor showing the space, they're going to try to sell it to you.
Yep.
If you have your own realtor showing you the space, they're going to try to sell it to you too, because they're going to want to make money on it as well.
Yeah, they're only making money.
Representing you. So you can ask them questions that the other person will answer, but might be reluctant to, where this person will find the answers because they want to make the deal. So I don't use a realtor anymore, I use a lawyer.
Okay.
My lawyer is a real estate lawyer. So when we go, like, the last place had a representing realtor, so I dealt with her, and she was great. We went back and forth. I did most of my negotiating myself, but when it came to like actual terminology that needed to be added to the lease, I go to a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, I didn't go to school for it, but I know how to negotiate a deal. And so I negotiated our lease. My biggest thing for people who are starting out is if you're not going to ask for TIA, which is tenant improvement allowance, which is the money that the landlord gives to you. If you're getting an empty shell and you need flooring, mirrors, locker rooms, you're looking at $100,000 right there, if not more, depending on the size of the space. So if they're not going to put that in there for you, and you're going to eat that and put it into your own build, and they're not going to give you tenant improvement allowance, then I'm asking for at least a year of no rent.
The first year of no rent.
And my reason why is because if you're not going to help with my build out, like I have over $700,000 of build out going into a space per se, right? If you're not going to help with any of that, but you want a 10-year lease with ironclad terms, then you're going to give me a year to build up so that I can afford you and so that you know that I'm worth it. And like I'm putting my money up front, so put yours up front.
So that'd be good to have probably a contractor come out and give you a price on how much it's going to cost.
You have to have numbers because you can't just say arbitrarily, oh, this is going to cost me $100,000. Because what if it costs you 2?
Yeah.
Or what if it costs you 50?
So already have that figured out.
Act with integrity. If it's going to cost you 50, then you tell them it's going to cost you 50. If it's going to cost you 100, here are the quotes for the 100.
To figure out how many months it would cost to cover your building.
Landlords want good tenants. That's all they give a fuck about.
Yeah, they don't want to keep redoing it,
They don't want
commercial space.
They don't want churn. They don't, and there's always churn in some smaller spaces, but in larger spaces, like we're the anchor of both of our locations, and then the one location we're just a space. But like if you're gonna be a gym, like a larger gym, and you're gonna be the anchor, or you're gonna be one of the larger spaces in the sect, they want you there for 10 years with 3 5-year options or 3 10-year options. They don't want to see you leave. They just want to get paid. Like they bought the space, they want to make their money on it. They're gonna make money on you, but you can kind of quell that growth spirit period by, coming up with a deal, whether it's abated rent, or if it's tenant improvement allowance, or if it's a mix of both. Hey, listen, we're going to pay half rent, and you're going to give us a little bit of money to come to the table with so we can finish this build the right way, and we can become a profitable company. And if they don't want to do it, then
Plenty of space. Plenty of space out there.
Go fuck it somewhere else. Like me, I'm stubborn. If I want that space, I'm going to beat that nail. The space that we just opened, I reached out 6 times over the course of since COVID. Since I knew that the gym, the predecessor of the space, had exited. And every time was fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. We don't want any more gyms, fuck off, fuck off. And then we opened our second location down here. And I asked, on shits and giggles, I was like, let me just fucking email this person again. And they're like, oh yes, when can you come look at it? So I'm like, I can be there tomorrow. And then tomorrow there was a fucking snowstorm and I still showed up. And we made it work. It was really just showing, you have to show that you care. If you don't care about your business, why the fuck are they going to look at you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this person's a joke. And,
he's just wasting my time. He wants to call himself a gym owner or a business owner, that he's in the, he's in the process. All right, so now you figured out your space, you figured out how much it's going to cost you. Now, how do you figure out what your membership price is going to be and if it's going to actually make any money? Because obviously, if you're buying a gym that's existing, you can kind of figure out by members how much things are going to cost. How are you figuring out your expenses and income? It lights up.
So the first thing that we went through was what's going out. So we go, okay, what's rent, electric, insurance.
But you're kind of assuming electric.
I'm assuming electric.
Okay.
Well, you can extrapolate electric by asking the landlord for previous bills.
Okay.
I want the last 5 meter readings when the space was occupied.
Was actually used.
Yeah, and the electric company will give you that too. Same thing for the water. You can pull all the previous usage bills as long as you have a letter from the landlord or ask them to do it themselves. So you can kind of guess, not guessing, you're extrapolating, you're putting it on paper, this is what this costs. And then you have to figure out, okay, so if it's going to cost me $20,000 a month to run this space, and what are my competitors doing? Their gyms are $19.99 or $10 or $35 down the street, but I went there and it's not a nice space. Like, what can I give these people? What value can I bring to the table and keep myself competitive, but also set myself above? So if the average in the area is 25 and you want to say, well, I'm going to add saunas, which they don't have, a smoothie bar, which they don't have, a tanning beds, which they don't have, classes, which they do have. But I'm going to make sure that, and I'm sure they have quality instructors too, but I'm going to make sure that my instructors are quality. But mainly I'm going to create, just when you walk into the gym, an overwhelming sense of, oh my God, this gym's amazing. Well, I'm going to be $35. So if my bills are $20,000 and I'm charging $35 a month, how many people do I need just to pay my nut? Okay, well, 800. Or how many people do I need to make 50,000 a year? Okay, 1,200. How many people do I need to make 100,000 a year? Okay, I need 2,000 members.
Okay. Is
this a space that can, 1, support that? 2, what's the demographic again? Do I have that many people around here with expendable income that can afford $35 a month?
So what if you said they had to make, say, over 95,000 as a family income, how many people do you think you're not going to say if there's 200,000 people here, I'll make it 100,000 of them.
No, you normally, so you're getting between 3 to 7% of the area in the 3 mile radius.
That's funny because they say, what was that thing, 4% of people actually work out, so you figure around 3 to 4%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like a huge number. You're not going to, if there's 300,000 people that live in your neighborhood, that's a fucking busy ass neighborhood.
I'm just throwing
You're probably going to get like
4% of that. I'm not going to ask you what 4% of that is.
Well, 4%.
3 times 4 is 12.
Yeah, so 1,200 members. Yeah. So that would be what you need.
Okay.
To make your 100K. You're not going to become, unless for some reason your gym is like the next like, I don't know, Alpha Land or something, you're not going to be sitting in $100K a week or a month of gross revenue where you're going to say, okay, I'm paying myself 75 grand this month. But you can make a really good living off of the gym, right? Without having to gouge your numbers and paying your staff fairly. And then also like saving enough to scale. Because scale is the most important part. While you could have a successful gym, okay, there's protection in multiple, right? Where there's one, there's worry. Where there's two, there's a little bit less worry. More work, but less worry because there's more money coming in, okay? And then there's three, the job is harder, but there's more money coming in if you scale the right way. And now you have 3 gyms that are able to pay you 75 to 100 to whatever you do, whatever you build it up to. It's just with one, okay, it's interesting, it's fun. For me, I get bored because like I've done what I can do.
It's not a challenge, so to speak, anymore.
And we're young.
Yeah.
Like if I was like 55, which is still very young, but I bought that gym then, and I was like, okay, we built it to a comfortable income and a healthy little living or whatever.
Yeah, you go there, hang out, it's a good time, it's a successful business.
I don't have the stress of I need to grow. And that's perfect for you. But like for us, the brand for Wolf for us isn't just like corporately owned gyms that we're gonna we own 3 down here, we're gonna open more, I'm sure. But it's also like, I believe in like your sister created the name Wolf.
Yeah, we didn't get into that. So what is Wolf?
So Wolf is work out, live fierce.
Okay.
So Wolf is an alpha apex predator, right? But it's also a pack animal. So I'm gonna butcher this fucking Rudyard Kipling quote. It's for the
with that pen, bro. You're gonna throw it.
For the strength of the pack is the wolf. For the strength of the wolf is the pack. That's okay. So what that means is you're only as strong as the people you run with. So if you're creating this community of people who are supporting you and that you're involved with, your gym's just gonna do better and better and better. So she chose she chose Wolf, and she made the acronym. We had a bunch of names on a piece of paper, and I'm sure I think mine was like I don't know, there were some dumb ones. But that was good.
You got to go through those things.
Right. So now that we have, we couldn't call our first gym our model because it wasn't one that we started from scratch, and it wasn't one that we didn't get to curate or choose the equipment that we bought because it was there, right? We've chosen everything since then, and we've changed out a lot of stuff, but it wasn't something that we got to start from day one. So the other 2 gyms, they were empty shells. They were gyms prior to us taking over. COVID had, unfortunately shut down these spaces, which created an opportunity for us. Otherwise, the space would have been so saturated with gyms, we would never have tried. So competition is a really important thing too. Who's in your area market? The nice part about these spaces were they had mirrors, they had locker rooms. They were disgusting, but they had mirrors and they had flooring, and so that takes a lot of the overtly non-equipment expense off the table, which saved us, countless money. So I would say for what we're trying to do with Wolf, besides just the franchise, we want to help other people own gyms. So many people say I want to own a gym.
Yep.
I would really like to help honestly with that. So we have created the anti-franchise, which is a lot of the franchises are taking 10 to 12% of your actual realized income. Which
how are they doing that? Just so somebody who's looking at a franchise, what should they look at to see if it's a good franchise or not? Obviously, you don't know everything about it, but I know there's a few things you've mentioned before.
Yeah, so a lot of the franchises make you do something where it's fucking pen, get it out of
me. Right?
Get it out of here. Yeah, good lord. ADD overload. No, so they'll tell you, okay, you're going to spend $2,500 a month on merchandise, whether you need it or not.
Okay.
So I'm not going to name the brands, but I went to a bunch of auctions lately for this one chain that keeps closing down, and every fucking one of them has a room filled with their fucking t-shirts and their protein shakes, supplies and stuff, because they had to keep spending even if they didn't need it. So right now, I'm saying if I have to take $2,500 a month from you before I touch your sales, regardless, just so that you can have all this shit part of your contract, it's $2,500 times 12.
Sure, that's 24 plus another 6.
Fucking $30,000 almost. That's gone.
28.
It's in your closet doing nothing, unless you can move the product that fast. So I'm already taking $30,000 from your pocket, whether it's helping you or not. It's probably not helping you because most of these spaces have a room that's just filled with the stuff that they have to buy. So that's an expense that we don't do because it doesn't even fucking make sense. The other thing that they do is they take between I think 7 is the lowest that I found, and 13 was the highest that I found as far as percentage of sales. So we don't attack sales. Your membership is your bread and butter. It's your largest margin product because of the volume that comes in from it. And as a gym owner, I know that you need every single member. No matter if you have an abundance of them or not, it hurts for everyone that leaves. So we don't touch that money either. I pretty much just want to be your McDonald's. You know, we have scaled to the spot where we can downline distribution for shirts, clothing, retail, clothing, fridge, whatever you're selling otherwise. Things that have margin that won't go unnoticed, like you won't notice if you're losing $1 a shirt because you're making 19. You won't notice if you're losing a quarter on a water because you're making $1.50. Shit that's not going to affect or hurt you to the point where me taking 12% of your membership was. If I take $5 a person from you in perpetuity and you have 1,000 members, you're paying me $5,000 a month for nothing, right? So we're going to do we do all the distribution for you. We set up all that stuff. Your pipeline is what we call it, so that we can get you your shirts, your marketing materials. But they charge you for marketing materials. We already have all the IP. We have all the imagery that we need. We build out the gyms for you, so we take.
So you're doing that part of it too, and helping them even find manufacturers,
Yep.
and make sure the
Yeah,
demographics
we
are done right.
We take the photos of the space, the equipment, whatever you need. We give it to you in a whole digital reel, so that you can pick and choose what you want to post. But it'll have the logo of the space on it. It'll have high quality, high res images for you, so that you can populate your Instagram with actual good media instead of just shit you take on your phone and just hope that it works. And then we help with events, and most of the spaces we have outside vendors in our spaces. So if we help you from the ground level up, and you want to do the smoothie bar, we have an IV bar at our newest location. We have a chiropractor. If you want stuff like that in there, those are people that pay you rents. So that's income to your space. So that helps your bottom line. It takes a little bit of pressure off that nut to get the pay each month, but it also, once you're breaking even from membership wise, that's income. That's just pure income. It's profit on a space that otherwise, what would you use it for? You know?
Yeah.
And it's an amenity for your members. So the members appreciate having a one-stop shop for a lot of their options, right? If they are going to go to the gym and then the chiropractor across town, well, now we brought it into one space for you. If you want your IV or your B12 shot or your Skinny Plus shot or your peptide injection, or for we do testosterone now. If you want your testosterone shot, well, instead of having to go to the pharmacy or your doctor for it, this doctor will prescribe it to you and they'll administer it to you, whatever your weekly dose is. So it's under one roof.
For healthy things that you guys basically recommend.
Yeah.
Compared to trying to, if you move to a new town and you don't know, besides the gym, you're like, oh, who am I going to see for a chiropractor? Oh, I like to get my injections. Well, now it's like, oh, Tony from Wolf recommends these people because they're in his building. You're not going to bring some random person in.
I actually only have people in our building who I went to prior to us having this building. This was my doctor and my chiropractor. These are people who I've put my personal health in their hands of. And so I wouldn't let randoms in just to get some rent. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. I could have turned the room into something else or torn it down and put some squat racks or whatever the fuck I wanted to in those spaces. So this was just a nice amenity to add to the spaces for these people. So we did that.
Okay, so you're saying Wolf Fitness is now offering franchise opportunities. So how would they go about asking about that?
WolfFitnessGyms.com. There's actually a little tab that says own your own gym or franchise. It comes directly to my phone only, or my wife's, and we retrade it back. So, we've got a few people in the Philadelphia area and a couple in Florida right now who are just waiting to hear back from, we kind of gave numbers out. But we give you a turnkey facility. We want to make it to the spot where if we're opening a gym for you, we're opening it with you. So I will be there with you, or my manager will be there with you. One of us, including me, will be there with you for at least the first month that you're open, making sure that you're, one, appropriately trained prior to opening, but also for launch. Two, that we've marketed enough to blanket the area for the 3 to 4 months of build-out time, from conception to lease sign, all the way through build-out and renderings. We want to make sure that you open the doors with members. So we do pre-sales. Marketing questions, equipment concerns, I want to get new stuff, all that stuff we can help with. That's literally just, we want to see the brand grow. I love what we've kind of built for people and for our people and for our members, and I want to see it kind of flourish.
And I like that it's a small, family community centered gym for lifting weights and getting better.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like the we don't like these people here. We just want you to sign up and walk on the treadmill.
No, if I find that when gyms cater to one certain sect of people, is they miss out on 70% of the opportunity. So maybe 30% of our gym are people who do powerlifting, 20% maybe bodybuilding. So 50% are just people who want to get healthy or want to work out or just want to maintain the status quo or cure any ailment that they currently have and just make themselves a little bit better each day. So why would I ever say, I don't want you or you?
Yeah, it's a space where you can live your Basu lifestyle.
100%.
You're just becoming better compared to a space where it's we only want these people and you shun other people who are doing their best. They're living their life.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that. That's one of the things that bugs me.
Your truth is your truth, right? Where if you're going to the gym, first of all, what is the percentage of people that go to the gym?
4%.
So you're already in the top 4% of the populace. So everybody in here is the same. We're all in that top 4%. So while we're training different things for different fucking reasons, we're all the same in that regard.
And we're all at war together.
100%. Yeah, we all go with ourselves.
I think that's a good way to look at it too. We're all at war together. Like if you think about it, we're all at war in the gym, trying to become a better version of ourselves, fighting off that comfort zone, fighting off that devil, fighting off whatever, is in your head making you want to eat the bullshit.
What was the choice you made to go to the gym today and not go to the bar? Fight that response every single day by going back to the gym and putting more damage to your system in a positive way.
Yeah.
Working out hurts you. If physically, like on a cellular and muscular level, we are doing damage to our body every single day we work out for the tomorrow's betterment. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, the only thing I just want to instill from that is the person right there doing it too.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing.
100%.
So look at them as your battle buddy. Even if you don't talk to them, whatever, you both have influence in.
You're both here doing the same thing.
Yeah, compete with them if they're a little bigger than you or whatever, but you guys are fighting the same fight.
I want to say I don't want to speak out of turn here, but 99% of people in my brain have body dysmorphia.
Everybody does.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're all in the gym thinking, are they looking at me? Nobody's fucking looking at you. Even the people who want to be looked at, they might be looking at you, but they're looking at you and they're holding you in a higher regard. They're not looking at you and judging you. They're if anything, I see a lot of the bodybuilders in our space and these younger kids who are now kind of evolving to that 15, 16-year-old stage, and they need direction. We create a community for you where I have got bodybuilders in our gym who are helping kids learn how to lift properly.
Yep.
They're not being monetized for that, nor are they being asked. They're taking the time, they're stopping their workout, and they're going over there and showing them how to do it right because they want to see these kids do this for the next 20 years.
And that needs to be brought back because your gym's doing it, but a lot of gyms aren't, just because of the culture of, oh, why is this guy bothering me? Oh, is this? We're this is how it should be. I just helped somebody the other day who was doing something, and I'm like, hey, look, do you mind if I give you a tip? I'm getting ready to leave. I just wanted to tell you one thing. And they took the tip and applied it.
The easiest way to approach somebody in the gym when it comes to that kind of situation is, hey, I'm not trying to be rude. You're doing great, but I think you could do this way, and it would save your back.
Yep.
Or it won't hurt your shoulder.
Yeah.
And it'll just make it better. You're doing great, but I can make it a little bit better for you so it doesn't hurt you. You know who that guy Joey Swole on Instagram is?
Yep.
He does a great job. These people put these bullshit videos out of people not looking at him, but they're still shaming the people not looking at him, and he's putting them in their fucking place. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's what needs to be said, but nobody wants to say it. Because as a gym owner, I'm not going to go over there and say what he says because, well, I shouldn't do that. I'm the gym owner. There's repercussions for me saying that. I do go over there and say, knock it off to the person. I'll say, hey, come here, and then I'll tell you what you did wrong. Let me help you. They obviously don't want to fucking help. Thankfully, I don't have spaces where that's an issue. Everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
Even the people who are having a bad day aren't like dicks, which is great. But it wasn't always like that, right? So these people in all of our gyms, all three of them, all came from somewhere else. And somewhere else had different rules or different standards. So it's almost like a retraining, hey, listen, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or how to act, but I'm telling you in our home, that's how we do it.
Yep.
And you don't have to be here, because when you leave, I'll find somebody who wants to be here.
Yeah, and I think regardless of which side you're on, if you're the person who needs help or the person willing to help, 9 out of 10 people are either going to be happy to accept it or are going to be happy to give it if you ask. If you're somebody who feels a little uncomfortable, hey, how do I use this? Nobody's going to be like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
How do you not know how to use this?
If nothing else, they're going to at least listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if it resonates with them, they'll apply it. And if it doesn't, they'll be like, eh.
Yeah, only tell them once.
Yeah.
If they come back to you after that, that's what I would do with the younger guys. Be like, hey, let me give you a tip on this.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, when he's next to you doing something, it's because he wants another tip. Now, if he stays on the other side of the gym, okay, he's not somebody I tip. No big deal. You just kind of learn from what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a cycle at that point. It's just right and wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you, I'm here to say this is the right way to do this so you don't get hurt. Or I'm not here to say you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying it could be better. It could be cleaner, right? So
you learn from your mistakes. Like, just accept the mistake, or just accept whatever they say and move on.
That's why honor, integrity, community, and commitment are fucking this tall, where the fucking cameras are, and they're 14 feet long on all the walls, because you can't miss them. You just can't. They're in your face. It's a subliminal message for betterment. It's not anything else. We're not trying to dissuade you from, or tell you you don't have these or you need these. We're trying to show you, like, these are things, whether you're thinking about it consciously or subconsciously, you're reading them every fucking day. I hope that you apply them to your life outside of the space, but I know that while you're in here, you at least apply them, because if you don't apply them, we have no problem with canceling you.
Yeah.
It's just, we want everybody in here having a good time, working for the best version of themselves. So yeah, man. I think the other thing I wanted to say about the wolf stuff, we do franchises, but we also own a company called Gym Builders. So if you don't want to own a wolf, you want it to be Steve's Fitness Palace, whatever you want to call it. Empire. We will 100% help you build that out the same way that we would white glove it with Wolf, just because that's the other side. Not everybody wants to.
Some people want to build their own brand, build their own name, which is cool.
Which is great. And I think anybody who has the balls or, yeah, whatever.
I think continue on that, but yeah, absolutely.
I think anybody who has like the metal or the integrity to go, or the gut to go after that avenue of labor, it's laborious. I applaud you, and I'm here. I will fucking answer, as long as you're not in my backyard. I will answer any question.
If you open right next door, I might not.
Yeah, let me know where you're opening first, and I'll give you the best advice I can give you. No, but if you're looking for help, man, reach out.
I think it's funny too, because like on Facebook, you'll see, like, say you're opening a gym, you're opening any business. The people who are criticizing you on that page, the people who are talking shit about anything you try to do, are not people doing it. Like, nobody who's doing it is gonna talk shit to you. They'll be the ones who are like, hey, maybe you should do this, this, and this. You know what I mean? Like, they're not the ones dragging you down. Like, the people who always, like, you'll see like a restaurant just open, and they're like, this restaurant sucks. Oh, they should be doing this. They probably work down the street, work their 8 to 4, and watch TV all night, and don't put anything in. This person is trying to build a business. They invested their life into this.
Trying to do something positive.
Yeah, and you're destroying them online instead of doing something.
Yeah. So my opinion with people when they come at you with negativity and shit, or something to say that's not constructive. I take criticism all day. I prefer constructive criticism, but I'll take your criticism too. I'm a human. I'll fucking listen to it, let it go off my back. But I think that, like, when you're really, like, finding yourself in front of somebody who's talking that much shit on you, it's really because they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Or they're not aware of their inadequacies, or their lack of, you know, I don't want to insult anybody, but their lack of drive.
Yep.
But because you're doing it, it bothers them.
Yeah. Why can you do that?
If they don't understand you, like, if people, if we don't understand something, for some reason, a lot of people are wired to just point it out, shun it, tell it it's fucking stupid, or it sucks, or it's bullshit, or you're doing it wrong, it's not right, what are you doing, you're a loser. That's so fucking backwards. I'd rather you say good luck. I hate good luck. I don't want your fucking luck. I've done the work to make it so it's not a luck thing, but I would rather you say that, because even though it irks me a little bit, it's 10 times less rude than,
I reframed
why are you
luck,
doing that?
So,
Huh?
You just got to reframe luck.
Yeah.
What did I say? Luck is what happens when preparation meets hard work.
Yeah.
So, because I've heard that before.
Oh, that's like rephrase what.
Reframe it to where, like, you take it a different way. Even though if they meant it a certain way, it doesn't matter, because I took it a totally different way.
Right. Yeah, that's why it only irks me a little bit, because I'm like, I did the fucking work, I don't need luck. But I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that more than non-constructive criticism. Or criticize me and make it so it's, like, not offensive. Make it so it's criticism where I can be like, you know what? You're fucking right. I should get that. Or that needs to be moved. Or, you know what? This probably wasn't the best space to open. You're right. But guess what? I'm going to make the fucking best of it because I'm here. Thankfully, we did the work, so I don't need that. But, yeah, man, it's just, that's how people are. And I think it's terrible. I wish that would change, and I don't think it's going to change right now. It's something that we have to do for a long time.
What would be your biggest piece of advice to someone who just opened a gym and is trying to get members? Just like, what's going to keep them going through the tough times in the beginning when they obviously only have a few members, if they're still growing and haven't hit the number yet? How would you inspire them to keep going?
Before I would tell somebody who already opened a gym is that if you don't have an alternative source of income, or somebody else outside of the business creating enough money to pay your home bills, don't do it. unless you have enough funding to weather the storm for 12 to 24 months, because one, you're going to get paid last whenever you become profitable, and profitability doesn't happen that fast. You can cover your nut within 6 to 10 months, maybe a year, but becoming profitable is a 2 to 3 year, because you don't know what your base is for the first 24 to 36 months of a gym, because people are transient. We're going to try you out. Oh, it's a year. The cheapest rate's for a year, for 12 months. It's the cheapest rate I can get. Perfect. I'll do that. You don't know what's going to happen on month 13.
Yep.
You just never fucking know. So I would always say, if you don't have enough funding to weather a 24-month storm, like in the business plan, which also includes your payroll for you, the owner, even if it's just enough to cover all your expenses, then make sure that you don't quit the job. You can be an owner operator and still have another job. You can do a 9 to 5 grind and be the closer of your gym, or vice versa, while having somebody else staff that desk. I would make sure that you're not taking home the fiscal stress to your family, because it's going to be something that bleeds off into that, and that's just going to make it that much harder for you to focus on your business, which is, you started for a positive reason, it turns into a negative. So I would say make sure you have the amount of the right funding available for you. I think the other pitfall is your staff. If you're lucky enough to open to be able to afford staff, they're your most prominent tool in your business. You're only there when you're there. Yeah. When you're not there, they're the stewards of your fucking business.
Yeah, they're the face of it.
They are everything. They could say, "Oh, gym's free today. I'm gonna watch Netflix," or they could be, "Hey, how you doing? $10."
Or just go like this when you come in.
Hey, listen, how are you doing today? These are our pricing options. Yep. However, just so you know, if you sign up for this 12-month one, we give you the first month for free, and it's the cheapest rate in the house if you're not going anywhere. But if you don't want to go anywhere, or if you might just try it out, do a 1-month pass. Or do the auto pay, which you can cancel at any time. No contract, no nonsense. It's not, you don't have to upsell everybody, but you can give them options.
Yeah.
And if your staff don't do that for you, you're automatically losing the ability to scale the money coming in, because if they don't care, the member will never know, and the member therefore won't care.
Yep.
Also, if they're not the greeters of your space, why would I ever want to go to a business, especially a customer-based customer service business, where I walk in and the first person I see who is the face of this space doesn't give a fuck that I'm there? All right, well, if you don't give a fuck, across the street does.
Yep. Everybody still likes customer service.
Build your team to be people that are better than you when you're there, and even more better when you're not. I'd rather not know what the best pricing in the house is today, because I want to make sure my staff does. I know everything about pricing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if for some reason I didn't, I know that every person on my team does. And they're incentivized. I incentivize my staff. Yeah, they get paid to do their job, but they get a bonus for doing it well.
Which everybody's incentivized by bonus. That's why sales jobs work out better for
exactly.
people.
So that's what I would say. I'd say make sure you have enough money to weather any storms, because it's going to be tight. I'd say make sure you launch with enough time to do 4 to 6 months of pre-sales, so you don't open with 0 members. Because I'll tell you what, we had a bitch of a time with our last gym. We didn't get our pre-sales open until 15 days before the gym opened. So we opened that gym with like 50 pre-sales, which we should have had 600. But because there wasn't enough time, for some reason, the merchant processor just couldn't get the link up in time.
Yep. Which
I don't want to pass the buck on anybody.
Yeah.
We could have switched people. We fucked that up. We stayed with the system that we were comfortable with, instead of getting uncomfortable and learning something new, which that's a learning experience too. Get uncomfortable, you learn more. But because of that, we opened with it was a fucking Hail Mary that we opened, and there were 600 people signing waivers that day, walking through the gym trying it out for the open house. It was a godsend. But honestly, you want to make sure you have enough time to, 1, create hype and buzz, but 2, inundate these people with what the space will look like. So open with people.
Yeah.
It's fucking sketchy when you don't.
Yeah, when there's no one in the gym, you're like, I don't want to sign up for 12 months. This might not even be here in 12 months.
I think the strongest piece of advice I would give anybody who wants to open any business, including a gym, is make sure that this is really what you want to do. Because if there's a shadow of a doubt, don't do it. It's either you're all in plus, or don't go in at all. Because it's going to take your entire strata of emotions to open and own a business, regardless if it's a nail salon or a gym. You are fully invested emotionally, physically, financially. It's your space. You need to run it like it's yours, like it's your baby, like it's your house. Like if you don't do your job today, you don't get to go home tomorrow. If you don't go after it with that kind of tenacity, like we talk about this all the time. If your why is not strong enough, there will never be a how. But if the why is strong enough to you and it's something that resonates deep in your soul, the how is fucking easy. Because you just show up and do the work and believe in it.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it takes 5 years or 10 years to make a profit.
No.
You're going to keep going because you love it. You didn't open that business because you're like, I'm going to get rich in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't open a business, you don't open a small business to go get poor. You don't open a business at all to lose money. Normally you open a business so that you can, one, grow it, scale it, sell it, have a healthy exit, or grow it, scale it, and enjoy the fucking revenue that gets to come in from your hard work and labors. And then scale. I think if you can scale. Personally, I want to open 10 more gyms. It's a fucking bitch. But like, I'm not going to. You
got to challenge yourself.
Every time we open a gym, I get more injured moving gym equipment. And so I just got to like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I just want to do it. But like, if you don't, and people can do whatever they want to do. If you want to open one gym and that's enough for you, let it be enough. Do it fucking amazingly well. And then for me, I want to open, like I said, I want to have personally 10, and I want to have whoever wants one, I want to open them for you. I don't give a shit how many we open for you. We only have the ability to open as many as they make equipment for.
Yeah.
And they're still making that shit left and right. So I would say if scale is something that's sexy to you, let's open some fucking gyms.
Get in bed with the right person.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a wolf. It can be whatever you want. We don't take, if it's non-franchise, if it's your own space, if Gym Builders builds this for you, it's you versus you. I'll help you if you want us to consult for you. Obviously we'll consult on the business side, but Gym Builders itself, we help you find your space. We help you negotiate your lease. We build it out. We give you the keys and we say, have fun, enjoy it. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we gave a lot of good info out. Please, guys, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel.
An hour and 46 minutes, bro.
And we got a lot more videos coming at you. We're going to have on, like he said, somebody who does all the equipment for the gyms. Yep. And we'll leave his info below in case you're looking to do this without Wolf, which is perfectly fine too. We're kind of just here to help you guys grow, expand, and build the best version of yourself. Live the Basu lifestyle, pursue the life you want to live.
Also, guys, if you like to bet on yourself hoodie, available online.
BasuLifestyle.com.